Hey everyone! Welcome to the first Q&A video for Project Onyx. Y'all asked a bunch of questions, and we answered, so let's get right into it. What games and/or other media inspire you to develop Project Onyx? Mostly games such as Halo and Titanfall, but also seeing other indie devs make such insane projects helps us show what can be done if you really put your heart and soul into your work. How did you land on the engine for the project? I actually started in Unity, as at the time I was using an old and slow laptop, and Unity had 1,000 Brackeys tutorials. So I figured I could learn Unity super quickly and start developing as soon as possible. However, I upgraded to the PC that I currently have, and after having issues trying to make an invisibility distortion shader in Unity, I researched other options. I saw that in UE4 it was as simple as making it translucent and changing the distortion value. This was genuinely enough for me to try out Unreal, and I instantly got a handle on the blueprints, and I've been using it ever since. Where did you learn to program, and what code language do you use? I use Unreal Engine blueprints, and I taught myself pretty much all that I know. All I did was simply continue to ask myself, how would I make this feature from this game? And I sat down and researched as many things as possible to figure out how that feature could be coded. After some time, I found myself not needing to look things up because I already had the knowledge to do so. What made you decide on the name Project Onyx, and is that the final name, or are you looking at changing it near release? Project Onyx actually comes back when it was supposed to be a Halo fan game. It was supposed to take place on the planet Onyx, but being that we're our own IP now, the name has just kinda stuck. It's actually taking its place in the lore, so I don't see it changing at all. How many cosmetics will there be, and what will the prices be? As there is a lot of backlash towards games which have expensive cosmetics, those that price single character skins or weapon skins at $15 or more. I can't give any numbers right now for cosmetic items, as I don't have the art or some of the systems set up for a good portion of those. However, being that I am planning on selling the game, all cosmetics will be earned through playing the game. I'm a big fan of customization, so you can expect there to be plenty of cosmetics to work and grind for. Any projection for the number of weapons, equipment, grenades, etc.? In terms of the sandbox, there are currently 4 grenades, 7 abilities, 10 equipment, and 19 weapons. Though there are still a few weapons that have yet to be recoded, and plenty more that we are still concepting and ideating. When can we expect the first Steam playtest? My team and I are hard at work to make sure we can get a pre-alpha playtest as early as possible. Our current goal is to be mostly ready for one by New Year's, and hopefully be hosting one within either the first or second quarter. As of this video releasing, there will now be a new channel in the Project Onyx Discord called Roadmap. Here you will be able to see all of the deadlines, as well as the ones that we have already reached and the ones that we are currently working towards. Do you anticipate releasing the game by 2025? I would definitely like to. However, being an indie dev and a volunteer project, it's incredibly hard to give official dates for anything. Do you plan on finding a publisher, or are you planning on self-publishing the game? At the moment, I am planning on self-publishing, but that is always something that can change later down the line. What price range are you looking at selling the game for? There isn't a final price set just yet. However, I am currently looking at anywhere from $15 to $25 or more depending on what there is at release. Do you plan on releasing more updates to the game after it has been released? Definitely. I plan on bug fixing, tweaking, and updating the game as long as it has a healthy player base. This may include things like new cosmetics, sandbox items, optimizations, you name it. Will you ever release this game on consoles? If so, how long do you think it would take to achieve that? I definitely want to. I know that console players make up a huge portion of the gaming community, and I know that PlayStation players especially have been wanting a Halo-style game for a while now. And a lot of my friends and family play on consoles, and some of which have never even played Onyx, so I would love to have them try it out. It's hard to say when, as I've already tried before and it wasn't accepted, so it'll definitely have to wait until the game has a higher graphical fidelity. I also don't know what complications will arise when adding console support. Is QA testing open to the server? It is! If you go to the testing announcements channel, there is a tester sign up form that you can use to sign up to become a tester. We are looking for people who are genuinely interested in helping find bugs and give feedback to help make it the best game it can be. How big do you think the game will get? I'm not 100% sure what is meant by this, so I'm going to assume you mean community size and publicity and all of that. I can't say for certain, as there's a lot of factors in play, but I genuinely think that this could succeed and do incredibly well if I play my cards right. What game modes will there be? At the moment, we have Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, Oddball, Gun Game, Infection, Domination, and Juggernaut. I've still got a few others to code, as well as a few game modes that have been requested, and some that I've come up with that I've got to code and try to see if they actually work how I want them to. So don't fret, there will be plenty of game modes at launch. Do you plan on supporting game modes with more than 2 teams, such as 4 teams of 2? Absolutely, and I already have multi-teams functional and playable. At the moment, you can pick from 8 teams, but we may add more in the future. Is it possible you will make a campaign, sandbox mode, co-op, survival, or other game modes in general for Project Onyx? If so, when? This is something I've pondered for ages, and as of recording this, some friends and family and I have started coming up with some lore, so at the very least the game will be grounded in a reality. I'd love to make a campaign, and I've already got some ideas for one. However, I want to make sure that I can make something attainable, and the best way for me to do that right now is to focus on the multiplayer arena. Campaign is something that for now will be looked at post-launch, but if this is something that you guys would truly want on launch, then please let me know in the comments. I will gladly shift things around, especially if it means launching a more complete game with more content, if that content is what you guys desire. I've gone ahead and made a poll for you guys, so if you don't mind taking a few minutes to check a few boxes once the video is over, I'd appreciate the feedback on what you guys want. Do you plan on adding a racing mode? At some point later down the line, yes. Maybe once vehicles are more polished and finalized, but at the moment it's not a huge priority. What vehicles are currently planned? I don't want to give too much away, as I'd love to show them off when they're done, but I am currently looking at 11 vehicles. Some are more standard Halo-like vehicles, and some others that haven't really been done before. Some may get removed, some may get added, but that is the current number that is set. Will a BFG be included? I do have plans on a gun that should make for some interesting encounters, custom games, and should just be all around a fun time, so yes, a BFG is planned. What is your favorite weapon that is currently in the game? My current favorite weapon is the C4 launcher. It's incredibly fun and overpowered, which to me is the perfect combination for destruction. It's fun and overpowered because you shoot the C4 and you get to manually explode them. This makes it great for hitting enemies at varying distances as long as you have the reaction time. You can also C4 jump with it, which makes getting to various locations easier, but you take a lot of damage doing so, so use it wisely. What is the end goal for the flow of movement and combat? The goal for movement is to be as smooth and seamless as possible. I'm not looking for an insanely movement-based game like Titanfall, but I do want the player to have as much freedom as possible when it comes to moving around the maps. For combat, we want as many interesting, crazy, and fun encounters as possible. We have a bunch of wacky weapons that should help with that, and we've got more ideas that are on the back burner. What does your usual development schedule currently look like? I like to spend at least 2 to 3 hours developing a day, whether that's coding, working with my team, or working on videos. I try to at least make sure something worthwhile gets done each day. Do you have plans to separate the game from titles like Halo, considering it's so similar? While yes, the gameplay is heavily inspired by Halo, the addition of inspiration from other games and fiction when fully implemented will be plenty enough to separate it. Have you been able to get the GMC yet, and if not, how far away from you from funding the goal? Yes, I was able to purchase it months ago, however I've not gone around to implementing it yet. GMC V2 is currently being worked on, and V2 will offer more features and flexibility, so I am simply waiting for that. I am also waiting till we have a player model so I can code the movement at the same time that I am implementing the animations. I was able to purchase the GMC because a good friend of mine made a bet that if we won our last game of Warzone, he would buy it for me, and lo and behold, we won that game.
I told him to buy some
If we win this game
but...
right now, I'll pay for the whole thing. Say I won't. I'll do it. If we win.
Okay, I'm worried about the water right now.
They're in this building. They're both in zone. What are they doing?
One in the water dead. I'm selfing. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. On the building, you say?
Crack. Smoke's mine.
I'm gonna self.
Behind. He's right here.
I double kill. I killed the guys that dropped in. Team wipe. I don't have any plates.
There's someone over here in the zone, I think. Just go zone. Right there, he's cracked, he's cracked, he's cracked. Guys, get him, down. He's cracked, he's cracked.
Finish. Dead. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
No way.
Galicia.
No.
Pay up, baby.
No.
Galicia, pay up.
No.
Galicia, pay up. Galicia. Galicia.
Will there be a level editor? I actually just finished prototyping my level editor last week. It is currently named Atlas, and while not finished, it is definitely a great start to an amazing tool for the community to start creating some community content. Speaking of level design, I've brought on my lead level designer to answer some questions. Take it away, Coma.
Heyo everyone, thanks for letting me have a moment in the devlog. I'm Coma, the lead level designer for Project Onyx, and I'm here to answer a few questions that are related to maps or level design as a whole. Starting off with, will there be any type of storytelling in map design? Typically, yes, but it will not be having as much more focused planned PvE content. For example, PvP maps will only give context on where and why maps are important within the lore. Any projection on the number of maps going into the future? Currently, it's not set in stone, but I want there to be a good variety of maps for all kinds of players. I'm planning on making 3 simple 3-lane maps similar to what you see in games like Call of Duty to help newer players outside the Halo circle get used to TTK and how the movement functions. The rest of the maps will be heavily Halo inspired to fit the original purpose and origin of Project Onyx. What is the mentality with maps going forward? This is a great question and a fun one too. We want to focus more on the dynamic elements of level design. A great example of this is Speedway, a map I made where a train speeds through the middle of the map and players caught in the way are killed. Same could be said for Overflow, which includes a water slide that pushes players down, breakable bars to access specific pickups, and even a working water wheel for easy vertical access. We have plenty more dynamic maps and ideas for the rest of the map designing process to help make the game as chaotic, random, and casual as possible. Additionally, core or standard maps are a huge focus that will focus more on the consistent maps without dynamic elements for possible competitive matches such as 2v2s all the way up to 8v8 for BTB. Alright, my last question. Are there plans to add maps post-launch? Yes, we want to make sure the maps within the game are continued to be updated with new weapons if we ever decide to add more, and of course original maps will come around as well. If there are any requests for specific map designs such as 2v2s or even more additional dynamic maps, we can look into it. That pretty much wraps up my section of the map and level design questions. If any comments pop up in the comments section asking more about maps, I'll make sure to reply as soon as I possibly can. I hope I gave you enough of an insight on how maps are being designed and looked at. Anyway, I guess it's time to hand the mic back over to Kick. Until next time, see ya.
I appreciate you taking the time to answer those questions, Coma. Are there any plans for major revamps to existing systems? If so, why? When I get around to revamping the movement with the GMC, hit detection will also be receiving a major update, as the GMC has some functions that make server-side hit detection way more reliable than what I have now. The menus will also likely be getting a minor code revamp once we get the updated assets for that, since some menus won't function the same anymore. The only other major revamp that is planned is for the database and backend. These have been needing updates to more easily support logging in and linking Steam accounts as well as Xbox and PlayStation in the future if I am able to release on those systems. What region servers are you planning to add in the future, and how would you cover your player base from around the world? I would likely be using AWS for dedicated servers, so as long as there are servers in that region, I can add them. Currently, only US East, West, and Europe servers are planned, but I can always get more depending on feedback from alphas and betas. What is the plan for art? Are you going with custom art, or are you using pre-built or optimized asset packs, or something in between? The current plan is to have more simplistic textures with mid-poly models. A good example of the texturing that I like is actually the Halo Infinite campaign reveal. I know a lot of people disliked it as an art style for Halo, but I genuinely like the way it looks. I like the more simplistic, clean look for everything. There is still detail there, but it's more laid back. For particle effects, I want to go more cartoony as I think it'll complement the art style well, and I've always loved the more styled and cartoonish particle effects. I will definitely use any pre-made asset packs as long as they fit the style and theming. There are a few VFX packs that Unreal has that I plan on modifying to fit the style a little bit better. My team and I are working on getting the game to a higher fidelity, and I can't wait to show you guys what we've got cooking up. Are you wanting the game to have better visuals but maybe not be playable on older hardware? Or will you be keeping the visuals more primitive so that people using older hardware can have a good, smooth experience? I'm definitely wanting to have some better visuals. As I mentioned before, I want a higher fidelity. However, I am making sure to include plenty of settings so that people with older hardware will hopefully be able to run the game as smoothly as possible. Any advice for aspiring indie game devs? Make sure you're passionate about what you're making, and make sure you don't overwork yourself. It can get to the point where all you want to do is develop on your project, which is great, but you can easily burn yourself out from doing that. I've had to take several breaks because I was too focused on finishing features, and sometimes I still get too focused. Also, take all feedback with a grain of salt and look at it from different perspectives. Outside perspective is always great, but you need to make sure that you are still making your vision how you want it. Most people aren't going to know as much about the technical details as you do, so them telling you something is wrong or feels bad could be an entirely different problem than what they directly say it is. That's all the questions and answers we have for now. If we didn't get around to your question or didn't respond with enough detail, just let us know in the comments and we'll make sure to respond. Now, here's my question to y'all. Do you guys want to help make Project Onyx? If so, there will be a sign up form at the top of the description where you can sign up to join the team. The more people with more skill that we have, the faster we can release this. Make sure you've got a good portfolio, as I will be sorting based on people who I think have the skill necessary for what we need. That's all for now. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.